In 1944, American soldiers started asking each other a strange question: who won the World Series? Not because they loved baseball, but because somewhere in the snowy forests of Belgium, German soldiers dressed as Americans were walking among them. And those Germans had actually learned baseball just to fool the real Americans. World War II is full of unbelievable stories, but few are as bold or bizarre as Operation Greif. It wasn't a typical battle. It wasn't about tanks or planes. It was a mind game, a psychological operation designed to confuse, divide, and terrify the Allied forces during the Battle of the Bulge. Picture yourself as an American soldier in late 1944. The air is freezing. The roads are jammed with vehicles. Everyone is exhausted and tense. A jeep drives by carrying soldiers in American uniforms. Everything looks normal, but something feels off, because the men inside aren't Americans at all. They're German commandos who spent weeks training to act, talk, walk, and even argue like Americans. This insane idea came from Adolf Hitler himself. Preparing for the Battle of the Bulge, Germany's last major offensive in the West, Hitler wanted to create as much chaos as possible behind Allied lines. To do that, he turned to Otto Skorzeny, one of Germany's most daring special forces leaders, famous for rescuing Mussolini. Skorzeny received an order unlike anything he had ever heard: assemble a team of Germans who could impersonate American soldiers. At first it sounded impossible. Out of thousands of soldiers, only a handful spoke English well enough to hold a simple conversation. So Skorzeny began training them from scratch. These men weren't just learning phrases, they were learning an entire identity. They practiced American slang. They memorized common jokes. They learned how to hold cigarettes the way GIs did, how to salute the American way, how to chew gum while talking, how to drive like Americans, and even how to complain like them. And then came the strangest lesson of all: baseball. The Germans were taught what a home run is, what an inning means, which teams were popular, and who won the World Series. They studied baseball because Skorzeny knew that American soldiers often tested strangers with casual questions. One wrong answer could expose a spy instantly. Once the training was finished, the transformation continued with real equipment. The Germans collected captured American uniforms, helmets, weapons, dog tags, patches, and radios. They repainted German tanks to look like American ones. And most importantly, they captured American jeeps, 32 of them, so their teams could blend in perfectly. Each commando was given a fake American identity: a name, a rank, a birthplace, even a backstory. They wrote fake letters from home. They practiced American signatures. Everything had to feel authentic. Then on December 16, 1944, the Battle of the Bulge began, and Operation Greif was launched. Skorzeny's disguised commandos slipped behind enemy lines and immediately began creating chaos. They changed road signs, sending American units in the wrong direction. They gave false instructions to military convoys. They cut communication lines. Some even redirected entire tank columns, costing the Allies precious time. But the real panic began when the Americans discovered what was happening. Rumors spread like wildfire. Checkpoints suddenly appeared on every road. Soldiers were stopped and questioned constantly. To catch spies, American MPs asked the strangest questions they could think of. Who is Mickey Mouse's girlfriend? What's the capital of Illinois? What color are the Dodgers' uniforms? And of course, who won the World Series? The irony? Some real Americans failed these questions and were arrested. A few spent days in custody simply because they hesitated or got nervous. Even General Omar Bradley was stopped and questioned because he looked too clean for a battlefield commander. Operation Greif didn't win the battle for Germany, but it achieved exactly what it was designed for: confusion. A small group of disguised soldiers managed to disrupt an entire army's rhythm. They forced the Americans to question every sign, every order, every passing vehicle, and even each other. In the end, most of Skorzeny's men were captured or killed, and the offensive collapsed. But Operation Greif became one of the most legendary infiltration missions of the war, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't a tank or a gun. It's deception. German soldiers learning baseball just to survive behind American lines. Only in war does a story this strange become real.